How we doing, muckers? Right, the big question is, how on earth did I find myself with a VW Amarok? Okay, as a lot of you'll know, last year I was wanting to replace my Land Rover Discovery with a double cab pickup because of the type of work that we're currently doing. Now, I looked at all the main contenders, the new Nissan Navara, the Isuzu, the Ford Ranger. I also looked at the Toyota Hilux, the new one. I didn't get a chance to film that because at the time I didn't have my camera with me. But anyway, I looked at the Hilux, and to be fair, there wasn't a pickup amongst them that I wouldn't have gladly have had. You know, they all had something to offer. So while this was all going on, I kept getting people telling me, try the Volkswagen Amarok, try the Volkswagen Amarok. And I said, look, don't waste your time. I'm not going to try an Amarok. I don't like the look of them. And they got like a 2-litre engine, which just isn't big enough. And to be fair, Volkswagen make cars, they don't make pickups. So in the end, I actually opted for a Toyota Hilux, the new one, because Toyota is a brand that I've had in the past. Anyway, it came to ordering one in the colour and spec that I wanted, and it was actually a 3 to 4 month waiting list. So I was about, oh, here we go again, you know, back to square one. And I thought, well, by the time that arrives, it would have been December of last year. Well, I may as well wait for the new registration in March of this year. So I thought, right, in the meantime, I'll just go out and buy a second-hand pickup, run that, and then get into the new year, order a new one, and sell the second-hand one when the new one arrives. And then a part of me thought, do you know what? I'm actually now going to go and prove a point. So I went out and I found a 2014 VW Amarok 2-litre twin turbo. It's quite high spec, sat-nav, aircon, and all the goodies. I thought, right, I'll run it for a few months till I order the new truck, and what I'll do is I'll make a series of videos on my YouTube channel and just show really why VW should stick to building cars and not pickups. How wrong could I have been? Man, this is such an incredible truck. Honestly, absolutely fantastic. Really is. Right, where it comes, ahead of the rest of them is in the detail. Now, it's one of the biggest pickups on the UK market. Yeah, I thought the Ranger was bigger as well by the looks of it. It's not. Look at the actual dimensions. This is 100mm wider, 4 inches wider. And once you're inside, it really does show. It's got an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Well, that's just like having, the Land Rover Discovery. That's fantastic for me. It's got permanent 4-wheel drive, just like the Land Rover Discovery. And that is where it is streets ahead of all the other pickups. The transmission itself is very, very good. As I said, 8-speed automatic. Basically, you've got your drive, and then you can flick it back, and it goes into sport mode. Flick it back again, and it goes back into standard drive. Put it out to the side, and then you've got like a semi-auto power shift gearbox, so that's quite good as well. I mean, I'm on quite a rough road at the moment. This is not a nice road, and the ride is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, really comfortable. It's got the heavy-duty springs on, and you'd think that would make it sort of stiff and sort of skip about. Not at all. I'm saying I'm quite happily sat here, and for a pickup, it's brilliant. Obviously, not as nice as the coil springing on the new Nissan Navara. But, as I said, all these pickups have got something that's really good about them, But the Amarok just every time just keeps coming back with being that much better overall. Okay, so the real world stuff. I've run this enough now to give you proper facts and figures. Like I said, as far as comfort goes, even on these rough roads, yeah, I mean, no complaints whatsoever. Seats are nice, they're supportive but firm. You know, they're a typical German seat. They hold you in place, and on long journeys, yeah, you can get out the other end and you're absolutely fine. The air conditioning's very, very good, very effective, soon brings the temperature down. Obviously it's split either side between the driver and the passenger, so that's good. As for fuel economy, I've tested that by looking on the digital readout here, and what that tells me actually isn't far out. It's not far out from the actual figures, because I've brimmed the tank, I've then done the calculations when I've brimmed it again with the miles to what I'd actually put back in, done the calculation, and I am averaging 29.7 miles per gallon. Now I'll take that every day of the week, because that's pretty good, because again, that can be a complete variation in driving from country roads to motorways to towing. And you know, I'm not afraid to you know, stick the right foot down when I need to, obviously within the limits of course, but you know, it's not being driven you know, sympathetically. The towing's one thing that's come up before. I think he's about 3.2 ton towing capacity. People are like, oh no, I want 3.5. Yeah, 3.2 tons, more than enough for me, because as I said, really, if I'm towing anywhere near 3 tons, we just stick it on a wagon, because it's a lot safer, it's a lot more efficient. Now the engine in this is the 2-litre twin turbo, producing over 180 horsepower and 400 newton meters of torque. So it's got bags of grunt and get up and go. It really does sort of move. You just put your foot down, and I mean, it just goes like a scalded cat, really. Now Volkswagen now put a 3-litre V6 in these, and that's meant to be absolutely mind-blowing. Now, I haven't tried one yet, and the reason I haven't tried one is because when I do try one, and I will do very shortly, I want to take the camera along so you guys can sort of be there as well, in effect, you know, and yeah, we'll judge it as I see it, you know, as we go along. So keep your eyes open for that. Now the VW's got a nice wide solid piece up here, so that's nice. Downside is, you can see that the steering wheel is actually quite small. Now that's great for, you know, actually driving, because, you know, it's nice quick sharp little turns and whatever, very responsive. But with that, the steering wheel being small means obviously I've got to come across here to grab hold of it. If it was a larger steering wheel, I'd be out here and my arm would be a lot more comfortable. But as it is, it does tend to pull your arm away from the side here, on the sill here. But look, they're just little things, and I can live with that. Now, like I said, this is a 2014 model. When I bought it, it done 70,000 miles. As I said, I didn't intend on keeping it that long, just to do a few videos with it, and then out it and order something new. Well, I've now had it 6 months, and I've put another 37,000 miles on it. So I went right through it and got my fitter to change all the oils right through: engine, transmission, transfer box, all the diffs, the lot. Just so I knew where I was, I have a bit of a benchmark. Did the cam belt, we did everything. And it still drives like a truck that's done like 10,000 miles, and that's it. Absolutely phenomenal. There's one or two things as well, like the sat nav. I mean, as I said, it's not a current up-to-date map system in that one. It could do with updating. I just haven't got round to it, but obviously because it's, you know, a bit older and the truck's German, you know, it's quite precise and direct. Every time I put in a destination, it wants me to invade Poland. But that aside, I'm sure the current ones, as I said, they'll be all up to date, and they actually are a better head unit in the new VW Amaroks. but little quirky things like that. But as I said, as a piece of engineering, it is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, look, I'm the first to hold my hands up. You know, I got it so wrong when I said, you know, I wouldn't even entertain one, because the situation is now somebody is going to have to come out with some sort of phenomenal pickup to get me out of one. So the series of videos that I've done over the past few months isn't to turn around and say to you, you should have this pickup. They're all fantastic, honestly. As I said, there's not one of them that I wouldn't gladly own. And it's been nice having a lot of feedback and messages from people that have viewed my stuff and said, look mate, really liked your review. In fact, I've gone out and bought a Navara, or I bought a Ranger. And that's just really nice to hear, because the whole point of it is not for me to turn around and say, this is the best one, the rest of the rubbish, you need this one or this one. The point was, look, this is the pickup, these are the bits I like about it, which are really good. These are the bits that aren't quite so good for me. But if you do like what you've seen and you think, you know, they're worth a second closer look, then go along and do that. And as I said, a lot of you have done that, and a lot of you actually gone out and purchased one, be that the Nissan, be that the Ranger. You know, so really glad about that. Why, as I said, did I end up with this? It's just because it simply does everything so well. Now, one of the people that kept going on to me about trying a Volkswagen Amarok was my mate Paul, you know, the guy with the International 956. And he just kept going on, you should try an Amarok, you should try an Amarok. Didn't you, Paul? Anyway, since I've got this, Paul's been out and about with me, you know, we looked at shows and whatever, and he's been riding around in it. And Paul, what have you gone and bought? Right, this is the 2-litre Volkswagen diesel engine. It is twin turbo. First one is actually here, and the second one is down below back there. You can't really see. But as I said, about 180 horsepower, just over 180, and 400 newton meters of torque. Although obviously it looks complicated, it's actually a lot simpler than a lot of the current stuff. So there's no AdBlue on these models. As they say, these are both 2014 models, so you haven't got the AdBlue and all that sort of stuff. But I say, a cracking engine, tons of performance, everything you'd want. Like we said, we'll have a look at the V6 3-litre, and I think that's meant to be a completely different animal altogether. Now, in the actual load bed, it is one of the biggest on the market for space, especially in between the rear wheel arches. You can easily get a pallet in there, several lashing down points. You've also got a 12-volt pickup point there for, well, flash and light or an inspection lamp, work lamp, whatever you want. So, as I said, very well laid out. And this is, like I said, the widest pickup available on the British market. Right, here you can see the leaf suspension on the rear. It's 5 leaves, 4 there, and the 5th one is underneath here. Handles really well, but the test I always try and do is put in a 1/4 ton in the back, because that's roughly what the fuel Bowser weighs, and it doesn't even know it's got it. And most of the pickups I tried, you know, they're all handled up very well, which I always classed as an everyday load. You know, you can load it right up to the extreme, but most of the time you're going to use these day to day, you're not going to be fully laden. Chassis on these is absolutely fantastic. The thickness of the steel is brilliant. Obviously the depth and also the width of the chassis, again, really impressive. It's built just like every other German thing. It's built like a Panzer, built really well. Yeah, like I said, hands up, I really got it wrong. My sort of, you know, preconception of the whole Amarok thing. They are an absolutely fantastic pickup truck. So there we are, muckers. Right, if you want to keep up with all the other general chit chat and squit, live feeds, more videos, pictures as we're out and about, you can do that on Snapchat and Instagram, which is Lord Muck 4890. And then we've got Facebook, which is Podge Muck. So there we are. Right, well, thank you all for watching. Look after yourselves, mind how you go.